If you're looking for an affordable folding e-bike, then you might want to stick around for this one. Big shout out goes out to Qlife for reaching out to me and asking me to review one of their brand new electric bikes. This is the Hunter. In this review, I'm going to go over everything there is to know about this folding electric bike. But first, let's get started with the specs. So this is the Qlife Hunter folding electric bike. It features a 1200 watt peak hub motor in the rear with 80 newton meters of torque, coupled with a 48 volts 13.5 amp hour removable battery. Qlife claims that this should give you a range of up to 65 miles depending on riding mode and riding conditions, of course. We have 20-inch by 3-inch tires, coupled with mechanical brakes front and rear with 160mm rotors. This bike also has a front suspension fork for a smooth, comfortable ride, a Shimano 7-speed with a Shimano derailleur, an adjustable handlebar stem, as well as an adjustable seat for comfort. And since this is a folding bike, you can fold the handlebar stem and you can also fold the frame for easy transportation and storage. This bike also has a medium-sized seat that's decently comfortable, as well as a fairly large rear rack. In the front of the bike, we have a quad LED headlight that's decently bright, and in the rear we have a taillight and an active brake light. That is always good. The total weight of this bike is 60.5 pounds with the max load capacity of 400 pounds, and it is IPX5 rated. And up on the handlebars we have our rear brake, our half twist throttle, the horn button, as well as the Shimano gear changer. And over on the left side we have our front brake and our display with the on-off buttons and mode selection buttons. And that is pretty much it for the specs. Now, as far as the price, this current model goes for $519, but I might have a discount code for you guys. If I do, it'll be in the description down below along with the link if you're interested in this bike. But let's not waste any more time and jump straight into our speed test. Alright, now before I do the speed test, I do want to show you very quickly how to start this bike up. This bike does come with two of these keys, and you do need to turn the battery on. It doesn't have like a switch, but it does have a key. You have to put it in and turn it in order for the battery to turn on. And once you're on the bike, we have a power button over here. You hit that for a few seconds and bike will turn on. Now this bike has 5 pedal assist modes. 0 means no throttle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For our speed test, I'm going to be testing mode 5. So I got my GPS open and the speed reset. That is in my pocket. And let's see how fast this thing can go in mode 5. I'm going to be doing throttle only, by the way. Okay, so the takeoff is very gradual, very easy, but starts going pretty quick right after that. Within a few seconds, bike is already showing 27 miles an hour. Ooh, I saw 28 for a second. There you go, 28 miles an hour. So it got there fairly quick and it feels very sustained. Now I'm gonna tuck in just for a split second just to give it all chances of making it. Now this bike is supposed to hit 28 miles an hour, and let's see our results. If I can get anywhere near 28 miles an hour, I'd be extremely happy. Okay, so my GPS app is showing 26.7 miles per hour. Alright, so 26.7 miles an hour. Now, one thing I will say, it is extremely hot right now in LA. It's like 95 degrees out. We're experiencing a crazy heat wave. And we know that the batteries and all these e-bikes act kind of funky when extreme temperatures kind of come into play. So extreme cold or extreme heat will definitely have an effect on the battery. So with 95 degrees out and 160 pounds on this bike, that is the speed we're able to get. And that was our speed test. So far, for the price of this bike, it's been very nice. It is very agile, very nimble too. The battery sits kind of like right underneath the seat, so it makes it feel very like stable and solid. And let's just see how stable this thing is. Okay, fairly stable. It's so light that any slight movement from your body kind of moves it one way or the other, but fairly stable so far. Now, as far as the brakes go, these are mechanical brakes, and 160 millimeter rotor. Let's see, I'm making my way up to about 20 miles an hour, hitting the brake in 3, 2. Okay, so they stopped on the dime, and looks like maybe about 10 feet or so of stopping distance from about 20 miles an hour. Now, I'll be completely honest with you, these brakes are just how they are out of the box. I did not adjust them. They could use an adjustment to give them more bite and they will perform better. Second thing is they are brand new as well, so they'll only get better with time as soon as they bed in, and you should expect better results, but very decent for mechanical brakes. And other than that, I'm not sure what else I could say. It feels like a class 2, class 3 e-bike, very typical. As far as the tune and all that stuff, we'll talk about that later, but so far a pretty pleasant riding experience. So this is what this front fork feels like. Very playful, like there's a lot of give to it. It's a little bouncy. It's a very generic fork, but I think that for the weight of this bike, it should be sufficient enough. Now, this bike is a hardtail, which means no suspension in the rear. So let's see, how does it act over a little speed hump over here? Dude, actually very soft. Now let's see if this thing likes a little curb hop. What do you think? Holy cow, that was crazy. It's so light in the front, I felt it kind of rising a little bit, like I was pulling too hard. Crazy. And again, because this bike is so light, the suspension feels like a perfect match for this bike. Now, it's a $520 e-bike, so don't expect crazy performance over here and go jumping off hills, but for riding on the road, very, very impressive. So I'm 5'8", 160 pounds as you see me on this bike, and the sitting position is very, very comfortable on this bike. The cool thing about it is this bike is so customizable, so the handlebar is adjustable up and down, the seat up and down, so you could pretty much make it fit you no matter what height you are, so that's pretty good. And as far as pedaling goes, very comfortable as well. Yeah, very comfortable. And I do want to show you the seat real quick. So this is the seat, and I'd consider this medium stiffness. It might break in with time and become even softer, but so far it is very comfortable. The tune itself is very nice. As you saw in the speed test, it got up to speed fairly quick, although it only goes 28 miles an hour or so, but it got there fairly quick. Now, I really like this throttle curve, so even though I'm on the highest speed mode right now, I can literally feather the throttle and the bike reacts very nice and goes right away as soon as you give it more power. So it's like, what I'm trying to say is it's not a 0 to 100 type throttle where it's out of control. It's very controllable, so I like that. And also something that I don't think I mentioned in the riding experience, the turning radius on this bike is absolutely insane. It turns on a dime. But let's go back to the tune. Another thing I really like is cruise control on this bike. So if I'm holding down the throttle for about 5 or 6 seconds, the pedal assist mode will change into C. There it goes. And then I can let go of the throttle and the bike just goes. For me, very, very nice and comfortable, especially if you got a long haul and you don't want to be constantly modulating the throttle. So that's very good, and it gets canceled as soon as you hit one of the brakes. It gets canceled. Now, the cool thing about this cruise control is it works no matter how much you're twisting the throttle. So even if you're very soft with it, give it just a little bit of power for 6 seconds, that cruise control will turn on. See? And I can let go and be at a much chiller speed. You don't have to go full speed all the time, so that's good. And lastly, let's see how our pedal assist works. So I'm starting with my left foot forward. Let's see, half, 1 revolution, 1.5. Okay, so between 1.5 and 2 revolutions, and that pedal assist kicks in, and it's very subtle initially, then it picks up speed. Holy cow. Yeah, very nice. And I like that it's not like starting off very, very rough in the beginning. That's just like out of safety. So it eases into the power, and then boom, once you keep on pedaling, it gives you that full boost. Very, very good. All right, now it is time to test our hill climb, which is quite possibly the hardest test for this bike in this review, and let's see what happens. I'm gonna be in pedal assist mode 5, of course. Let's see, will I need to pedal, or will this bike have enough power to climb? Now, on their website, Qlife claims that this should conquer a 25-degree incline. This hill kind of varies. It has like steeper parts and less steeper parts. On average, it's about 20%, so we shouldn't have a problem. Now, the motor is slowing down a bit. Oh, you see that cruise control turned on, so I can let go of the throttle. That is very nice. So yeah, we lost a little bit of speed. The bike is showing 13 miles an hour, but it is climbing. So, and there we go, starting to flatten out and picking up speed. Okay, so it was definitely able to do it. All right, so we had a very slight struggle, quote unquote, from the motor, which is very typical. We did lose a little bit of speed, which is typical, it's expected, but we were able to climb this hill, and that's the important part. And the reason I do this test is for those of you who live in an area with hills, or hills are a part of your commute. Now you can kind of see what this thing is capable of. Now, this bike is definitely a commuter, a cruiser, a bike to ride around the neighborhood, maybe a last mile commute. It's probably very good when you go out camping because the fact that it can fold. What it's definitely not is an off-roader, but this is a review and I want to push this thing to the limit, so we are going to test its off-road capabilities. Now, this part over here is a fairly easy, flat ground. It is sandy, so it's kind of off-road, but shouldn't be a problem for a bike like this. I am making my way to something that's just a little bit more demanding. It is a short part, I'll be honest with you, but it's just to give us a general idea of what this thing is capable of. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that it's not meant for it, so I'm asking it to do way more than it's designed to do right now, but kind of want to test the power more than anything and see how does that suspension act over here. And we have this little mini hill climb. Do we have enough power to make it? Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, that was good. And I mean, yes, it is like a class 2 class 3 e-bike, only 28 miles an hour, but the power to weight ratio is pretty decent here. So so as far as power, it definitely has enough power. Now let's check this fork on this downhill section. Yeah, was able to do it. Again, guys, keep in mind, it is not meant for this by any means. This is just a review. It was a short section, but I just wanted to kind of push it to the limit, and it actually performed very decently. So, what do I think about the Qlife Hunter folding electric bike? Let's do things I like, things I don't like, and is this thing good value for money or not? I'll start with things I like, and I like the way this bike looks. I like the fact that it can fold very easy, and a lot of people are looking for that, so I like that. I like the power of the motor, that's very nice. I like the overall tune, that's also very nice, and I really like the adjustability of it, meaning you can make it fit you. Very, very good. Now let's do things I don't like, and throughout the review I tried thinking about something, and honestly I can't really find it. It's there's nothing that I don't like. It's more of like I wish it had, and I wish it had rear suspension. If it had rear suspension, this bike would have been a lot nicer, but at the same time I can't hold it against this bike because this is a hardtail. It's not supposed to have rear suspension, so it is what it is. It's more of like a wish list. If it had rear suspension, it would have been so much nicer, but this bike is good as is, especially for the price. And that brings me to my last point. Is this thing good value for money or not? We're talking a folding e-bike that is super adjustable, class 2/class 3, with a very decent motor that can go up to speed very nicely, and an okay battery for $519. That sounds pretty good to me. Now, I might have a discount code for you guys. I'm not 100% sure, but if I do, it'll be in the description down below where you can save a little bit more off this thing, making it pretty good value for money. Now, one thing that I do have to make note of is, you guys might say, hey, this is a folding e-bike and you didn't even show us how to fold it, how to unfold it, blah, blah. Guys, the folding and unfolding mechanism is super straightforward on these things. You have one for the handlebar where you lift this latch, turn it down, and you can fold the handlebar stem, okay? You can bring it back up and lock, and the same thing goes for the frame. You can undo this latch and the bike will start folding by itself. It's pretty self-explanatory, and to put it back, you just hit that, make sure it clicks and it goes into itself. Pretty self-explanatory, so that's why I didn't show that section. Super self-explanatory. Now, I'm pretty sure I was able to go over everything there's to know about the Qlife Hunter. I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.